Okay, Daddy, which one you want to go back with?
No, there's only one I haven't answered.
Okay.
Story one.
No story you
Favorite
want
story.
for us to remember
Yeah.
from your life.
I know I it's hard to think about one, so you're gonna have to give me a few minutes
Okay.
Okay.
because I have a life full of stories. I think the story of Frenchie and Lump.
Oh, yes. I love this one.
Frenchie and Lumpy.
We drove. Excuse me.
Mommy.
We had these friends, Rocky and Rusty, and those were their real names. Let me take a drink so I can talk.
Was this Uncle Rock?
Before he was young.
Okay.
And it was funny because I'll start off with the way I met Rocky and Rusty. I had a date with Eva. I used to go with Eva.
Yeah.
Well,
Kathy's mom, right?
uh-huh. So did they.
Oh.
And they didn't know what was going on. So we're walking along. And back then I thought I was a BA. So we're walking along,
Oh.
and I turn around and see him back there, and I walk back. What in the world's going on? And he says, well, we got a date with these girls. I said, that girl's my girlfriend. Oh. So then, I told Dad to tell you this.
Preface.
I went to a party at their house. And I don't know if I had Eva with me or not, but I went to a party at their house. And we got to talk and got to be friends, so I moved in with them. And that's how I got them. And we were having a hard time because Rusty was really Rusty. Rusty was really homesick. And he wanted to hitchhike home to Durango. Well, Rusty and I didn't want him to. Rocky and I, because it was starting to get dangerous about that time. It was in the early 70s, around 72, 73. So we borrowed Stephen Vay's car and drove them down there. So he said, here, since you're here, let me take you on a tour of the city. And he took me all different favorite places. And about the time we got to the high school, the bells went ringing, and it was time for them to break for something. So this whole group of people were coming out of the school, and he stuck his head out the window and said, "Hey, Lump!" And these books went flying into the air. And in case you haven't noticed, I was Frenchie. And she started just barreling toward that car, and I fell in love with her at that very moment. And I said, that girl's going to marry me. I just have to convince her.
And who was that girl, Daddy? My mama.
Lump. You better photo Lump in there.
Yeah.
My mama.
I love
So
it.
that's how we met, and that's one of my favorite stories.
Why Lump?
So is that how Uncle Rock
Yeah, why is it
met?
Lump?
Also, how did you know Rusty?
Rusty named her Lump.
Why,
And
Mom?
I don't
I can't remember
I
why.
cannot remember how that all.
So you went to high school with Rusty, Mom?
That's right,
Okay.
you knew him from
Rusty
high
and
school.
Rock.
Yeah, so that's what I just asked Dad. Aunt Verla and Uncle Rock met because of Mom and Dad.
Okay.
And Rocky was jealous of me because he had a crush on
Mom.
Well, all right.
Pick the right
You gave
man.
Yeah, we are.
Kept it in the family, Mama.
Rock's a great man as an uncle.
Would you say, Drew?
Consolation prize. Just take my sister, man.
Straight up.
He was a
And
good
he
dude,
was-
and he was always cut and dry. Like
Yeah.
he didn't
He did not mess around.
beat around the bush.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I remember
He died a horrible death.
He
Yeah.
did. He did. My favorite memory of Rock, he picked me up from school because I was sick. I don't remember if I was really sick, but Mom wouldn't come get me. So Uncle Rock, I think Uncle Rock was staying with us or something. I don't know. So he came and got me, and he let out this big old burp. I said, Uncle Rock, and he goes, "It's not bad manners. It's just good soda."
That's awesome.
Man.
I deserve.
All right.
Me too. Okay, Daddy, ready to think back?
Yeah.
What is your most memorable moment or time as a Marine?
Shooting them coops.
It's being recorded, Jeremiah.
Well, one thing is that I never had to shoot anybody.
That's good.
and that's the best. I've carried it again for years. I got one on my hip right now, but I always prayed that I would never have to do that, and I never have.
Cool. Okay. Ready for this? Dig deep.
Wait, hold on real quick. Daddy, did you like being a Marine?
I loved being a Marine until they brought me back here.
Yeah.
Oh,
The Marines in the United States suck.
oh,
The
okay.
Marines abroad is
Are
awesome.
amazing.
It's
Oh.
such an awesome job.
Why
It's
did,
just-
is that
And
why
by
you
Marines,
got
mean
out?
the service or that
Well, I got out because I
Right.
re-enlisted. I was a truck driver. I didn't want to be a truck driver anymore. Didn't want to get out and go back to the world. So, talked to your mom. We decided I should re-enlist. So I re-enlisted, and they gave me a contract for NCO and training in the computers and this and that. They gave me like 5 or 6 options on my contract. So I happily re-enlisted.
Nice.
Well, about 6 months later, this new major moved into what did they call it? Do you remember? Anyway, he was over fitness, and the big thing in the Marine Corps is fitness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was overweight, and the reason I was overweight is because for the last 2 years or something, I've been sitting on my butt. I was
Working at a desk?
working a desk at the special services. But the thing of it is, even though I was overweight, I was in shape.
Mm-hmm.
I could pass my PFT. I could do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we had I was out there playing racquetball every day and running all the time, and had a special times reserved just for me to go sit in the sauna and all that other stuff. So he was going to take care of all of us overweighters, and I surprised him. You know, he thought here's a slob, and I surprised. I was a slob, but I still surprised him. And so he would just get out there and give me a hard time every bloody day.
Oh.
And
Like you were back in boot camp?
yeah,
I can't
worse than I
stand
was
people
back
like that.
Terrible.
and it was all because he was just being a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
And
Power chip.
so then I got fed up with it. I went to my colonel. I said, Colonel, I was promised all of these things, and now he won't let me do it because he says I'm overweight. And the colonel, he was so sad. He said, tell him I'm sorry. He said, this jerk has got control of that. He said, there's nothing I can do about it. Which made me mad because he was a colonel and the guy was only a major. So anyway, I finally got fed up, and the colonel couldn't do anything, and this guy couldn't do anything, and that guy couldn't do anything. So I called my congressman. And I said,
Quote.
quote. So he called my congressman, said what was going on. 2 weeks later, I was honorably discharged Marine the second time. And that really picked up the major. So he tried to take my uniform away from me and all that there stuff. I could care less really, except that he wanted
It's
it.
the principle, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
not
you're
the
not
major.
getting it.
Right.
I just called my colonel again. I mean my
Your
Congressman
congressman again.
and he said, look dude, he's an honorably discharged Marine. You leave him alone.
Good.
He's discharged, he's a civilian, leave him alone.
Good.
Somebody needed to put him in his place. That's for
Seriously.
sure.
Yeah. And that's what we have congressmen for. So then the Marine Corps moved me up to Orange. And by then I'd already taught myself COBOL and BASIC and JCL and all that stuff. So that's how I got out of the Marine Corps, and we started our life in computers.
Computer programming world.
Yeah.
And I've made tons of money out of being
Yeah.
a computer programmer.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad I didn't know anything about finances, so
Still eludes me.
It's good. Me too.
Kind of a good thing you had a tool bag major then, otherwise you might still be in the Marines years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
And
Which I
we
wouldn't
might
have
not be
minded,
here.
except
Yeah.
that that's why the Marine Corps sucks.
Uh-huh.
And,
In the
and
States.
they want you to spit and polish and oh man, I'm glad they didn't find out I had dress blues.
Ah.
Oh man, I've been in every parade they did in that entire base.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay.
But
sure. Oh,
thanks to the major, by the time I got out, I could fit into my
So in the
Long
long
run. I think in that uniform he wanted to take away from me. As we were leaving town, we went by and dropped him off at this Army Navy surplus store.
I love it. That's hilarious. Okay, sir. Okay, this one's a fun one. What was your best bowling sport ever?
My best bowling sport ever was 165.
165?
Is that good? I don't know.
That's about
No.
half the top score.
Perfect game's 300.
165. Okay, well.
Heck of a lot better than I can do, though, that's for sure.
I think my top score is like 65, so go down.
A perfect game's 300.
300.
Oh, man.
Okay.
But I used to use that for a trick too because we would leave school and go down to the bowling alley to do our bowling. Well, we would go into the. Maybe I shouldn't be telling them this. We'd go into the bathroom and smoke cigarettes.
Hey, I do that too.
So one day Peanut came in and caught us. So he told us to get back to that school and wait at the principal's
Why is that
office.
making that snapping sound,
I
honey?
don't know.
Maybe one of the brakes is still on.
Get back to the school
Oh,
and
did you pull the
wait in
handles
that principal's office till I
up? Those
get there.
brakes, that's the
So I
lock.
said, okay.
Oh.
So we were smoking all
Oh, they go
all
off
this.
the line.
He didn't say put it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got there, we were sitting in the principal's office. Oh, Peanut, we called him Peanut 'cause his head was a peanut, I swear. So we had another one we called Barney Fife because he looked exactly like Barney Fife.
Didn't we call Drew Whitehead Peanut Head? Because he had peanut shaped head?
That's just racist.
That's funny.
So we were sitting in the principal's office and in walks Peanut, all upset. And the principal comes out and says, what's going on? And he said, we were over at Christy Lane's, and I walked in the bathroom, these guys are all in there smoking. He said, so? And Peanut looked at him and said, so? He said, were you on school property? Well, no. He said, well, there's nothing you can do about it. He sent us all back to class. And the thing of it is, technically they could.
Yeah, because it's
During
during
that
school
trip,
hours.
that's-
Yep, yep.
That is school property.
Even now, even if you get into a fight on the weekend, you get in trouble at school because of it. Even if it has nothing to do with anything at school, you still get in trouble for it.
Wasn't Peanut the douchewad who was like...
Language.
No, he was a douchewad because he was the one who was like sexually assaulting students.
What?
No, that wasn't Peanut.
That was a different
Peanut
one?
is the one that my brothers and a couple of their friends, like everybody else, they hated him. So he had a Volkswagen. You know, she parks the Volkswagen in the back of the school. Well, in Leadville, you get snowstorms that's 4 or 5 feet tall. So they took the ropes that you climb up to the roof line, and they went out there and they tied it on the 4 ropes on the 4 ends of the car. And they this. I think I could not believe they were this strong. They hoisted that Volkswagen up on the roof and set it over here on the roof.
Oh my
And
gosh.
took the ropes right down, went back down, folded them all up, put them away where they're supposed to be.
Oh my gosh.
And Peanut was going crazy. He thought his car had been stolen.
I mean,
Well,
kind of
Technically.
was.
so
Never left the property
It
though.
was just it was misplaced.
so there was a. They called the police, and
I
police
know.
came in. And police couldn't find it, and it snowed majorly. Just was covered in snow up on top of the roof. So it was up there for the entire winter.
Oh
Into
my
the
gosh.
spring, and a guy was up there cleaning the roof one day. And
Oh my
What's
gosh.
hilarious about that is the police must have been going nuts because Leadville has like 15 people. How do you hide a car in a town that small?
True.
they all assumed it had been stolen. It's so hilarious.
Before we go on, Daddy, will you tell the story of when you got kicked out of class in school?
Which time?
And for what?
Daddy!
Because your last name was Mitchell.
Yeah.
Oh,
I found out you were Harvey's brother.
I walked into class and sat down, and the teacher was calling the roll. And she said, Thomas Mitchell. And I said, here. Are you related to Clinton? Yes. Are you related to Dale? Yes. Are you related to Verla? Yes. Get out of my class. And so I took revenge on her and dated her daughter.
I never heard of that
Sir,
ending.
well played.
Daddy.
I said, well played, sir. Well played.
I swear. Oh my goodness.
Actually,
Daddy.
we actually later on became friends.
The teacher? That's good.
Can
I
I
think
ask?
because of her daughter.
Yeah.
Tell one more. Tell the one of the bar fight where your
Harvey
brother
drew
kept
off
picking.
his arm.
No, not that one.
Oh.
The one where
Was
they
it
kept, Pat kept picking a
kept
fight
picking a
because he
fight.
knew you guys would. You would.
Because TJ,
That wasn't at a bar. That was
Tom-
at
Fights
school.
for him?
Tom was his
Pat
brother.
kept picking fights with people because he knew
That
that.
I would come
So
to.
he had a bunch
Yes.
of brothers.
Yes.
I thought that was a bar.
That wasn't a bar.
No,
It was
one
at
more fight at
school.
school.
That
Right
was
down
a
here.
school.
Yeah.
Okay, tell that
We
one.
were clearing the table
So-
so they could see the.
Which is weird because I always thought
Yeah.
Pat looked like you could fight, man.
I know. He's got muscle.
Well, he could later, but not
Not at that
He's a little
time.
wimp at
Little
this time.
scrawny guy.
So he would go and he'd pick a fight, and then I would come in and save him. Unbeknownst to me that he'd pick a fight.
You know what? He
After
was
a
all.
while-
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
After a while, they came to me and they said, "Frenchie, what's going on here? Your brother keeps picking fights with us, and you kept coming to break us up." I said, "He what? Yeah, he's picking fights with us." And he said, "Just about the time we're ready to kill him, you show up." And I said, "Well, I won't show up next time." I had no idea what he was doing.
Clean his clock.
So they cleaned his clock. Oh.
Where? But I bet he learned.
Just
I mean,
rewards.
this is
You
the
know
same
what I
kid
learned?
who whacked him over the head with a bike tire, so, you know,
You
you
know
got
what
what
I
was coming
learned?
to him.
Just rewards.
I learned that if you find the toughest person in class and wax them, you have no problems for the rest of the year.
Excuse me.
Right.
Pretty swear. I learned that pretty quick myself.
May I intervene? Because I saw this video once, and it was this big Berlin guy. This big Berlin
Look,
African
he looked like
American.
Bear off
Yeah, he looked like
off
Bear
of
on Armageddon. And he was like, "People always tell you when you get to prison, you gotta find the biggest mother, blah, 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 and beat the crap out of it." And he goes, "Because that's the only way that you're gonna get ahead in prison, blah, blah, blah." He goes, and I'm just saying, could y'all please stop beating me up? Because I'm in here for mail fraud. Like,
I saw that.
Oh, I went to school one day.
I'm in here for money or for like. It
for mail
was like
fraud.
some blue,
Yeah.
yeah, blue collar.
I was walking to school one day and I saw this little girl being picked on by a couple of guys.
By God.
So I kicked their butts and ran them off. So then I got to school, and I'm sitting in shop, and this big old huge dude walks over to me and says, "Are you Tom Mitchell?" I thought, why do you want me?
Who's asking?
Yeah.
Who wants
I
to
said,
know?
I was like, I know who he is. What do you mean?
So I said, yes. He reached out, shook my hand, and says,
Aw.
"I really appreciate what you did for my sister.
Aw.
I got your back."
That showed me who it was that was bugging her, right?
Yeah, right.
So for the rest of the school year, I skated. I didn't have to worry about fighting at all.
Nice. Did you abuse it like your brother Pat did?
No.
Okay.
I didn't have to.
Yeah.
He was like my guardian angel.
Pat looked like Pat was skinny and like wiry, but he had like those skinny, wiry. It's like those dudes that, like, you don't think they hit, but when they hit you, it's like
Oh,
all
yeah.
bone.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like getting hit with a billy club.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been hit by him, but that's always what
Yeah. Yeah.
But I used to
Alright.
make him mad because he could never beat me at
arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling.
he could now without it was bigger. But,
Oh my gosh.
Daddy, are you?
All right, go ahead.
okay, is that it?
Yes.
Yeah?
So far.
Getting tired.
Are you feeling okay, Daddy? You need to go lay
Oh,
down.
no, I'm feeling actually better. This is
Okay,
good.
good.
But she said one more, and then I wasn't sure she was done or not.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sure I'll
Yeah,
some more.
jump in, you guys. I just write this down as I think of it.
Hold on real quick.
You
though.
said
I do
only
remember
one
you
more-
saying
one
something
more?
about
No,
one of your
Sandy
teachers
said
that
she
you guys
wanted to know
had
one more thing before we
to
moved
teach a
on.
lesson because he was
Oh,
messing with the girls.
He was. We were same school, and he would drop his pencil because
So
back
kids
then
look up
girls
their
wore
skirts, I
real
remember.
short skirts to glance up his shirt, their skirts and
It was
stuff.
John Candy and it's
And,
That
black.
would have been funny.
Eating candy all the time so he could, drop the wrapper and pick it up.
Yeah.
So one day we got mad, and I stood up and I said, "This is ridiculous," and I walked out of school. Well, because he was my guardian angel, he stood up and he walked out of school.
Yeah.
But when he stood up and walked out, everybody in the class stood
You
up
had
and
to
walked
walk out. Yep.
And so we're up there and sitting on the campus. No, we weren't doing anything. We weren't smoking or anything. And the principal comes out and says, "What are you guys doing? Why aren't you in school?" I said, "Because He says, because why? And I said, I can't remember his name, but I said, such and such was doing this, and we got mad and decided we weren't going to put up with it anymore. She says, Tom, you sound like the spokesman. Come on in.
Oh.
So I went in, and so did my guardian angel, and they called that guy in there. And we called a couple of the girls in there,
Yeah.
and we just roasted that guy. He was tenured and was fired.
Whoa.
That's how bad it was.
Ah, man.
And we were so proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was back in the day,
Yeah.
too, when they usually just like go,
Yeah.
get away.
Yeah.
Transfer him to another school.
Yeah, exactly.
Or try to gaslight the students and be like, oh, he wouldn't do something like that. He's been here so long.
Yeah.
Good for you, Daddy. Okay, Papa. What has been your favorite job?
Yeah, my favorite job. When I was working on the ranch, riding horses and, finding out that I was dumber than the cattle. I'm serious.
Daddy, was the ranch before we were born?
Oh, yeah.
The ranch was before
my
Mommy,
mom.
too, right?
Yeah, he was raised. I think he
Yeah,
was raised on
raised
the
in
ranch.
We were,
Oh, okay.
we were out there, and Harry was going to teach me how to ride cattle.
How to ride cattle?
Yeah, how to ride cattle.
You ride cattle?
No,
Like
how to
herd 'em.
ride cattle means
Herd
herd.
trading.
Oh, I did
So-
not know that. No, I was like, what?
That's on video.
So
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
there was this old horse, it was his horse, named Blue, and she was a sweetheart.
Oh,
He set me up on top of Blue and he says, here are the reins. Well, I said, what am I supposed to do? And he says, go get those cattle out of the what'd they call it? Anyway, it was a
like
wetlands.
a ditch. Oh, okay.
And
Like a marsh.
I said, I don't know how to do that. And he said, she does. So I said, okay. And I took off into the marshes. And she was in there just zipping and zopping and zipping and zopping and getting those cattle out of there.
Cool.
And then we were walking along and she just stopped. She would not move. So I said, get up. Come on, get up. So I got, because I'm a fool. I got off the horse, grabbed the reins, started walking in there. Well, I was in the muck up to my knees because I didn't listen to her. So she pulled me back out and I got back up on top of her. And we're riding the cattle back down. And this one took off, just choo-choom. So here's Blue, takes off. Choo-choom, jumps the fence, goes after her, and all of a sudden she stops and looks back.
And sees
Because
your
I'm sitting on my butt. Where she jumped over.
He's like, I can't believe I gotta deal with this new.
Yeah, I know. He's like,
Why am I always the one?
how old do you think you were at that time, Daddy?
I was 16.
16. That's crazy.
I was sent back to the ranch because I got in just a tiny bit of trouble.
So that was your boot camp or your military school?
That was my,
Sending you off to the ranch?
yeah.
Okay, hold on real quick.